Oh, now I haven't got any sound either. Bear with me. Bear with me, bear with me. It is a little bit tricky today. Okay. Good morning. I'm so sorry about the problem with the software. I had improved my camera today, but it seems to have reset everything on YouTube channel, so I have to download some more software. So that's why we're now on this recording instead. So sorry about that, but many of you got the email, so that was good. And the rest of you, if you don't receive the email in time, you can follow this recording later. All right, so we're going to start. We'll be a little bit late. I'm just going to get my book of words because I've been trying to navigate through YouTube and I've lost my sheet. So there we go. Okay. So this week has been the 6th anniversary death of BKS Iyengar. So it's a time when we reflect on his legacy and where everything that we're doing together today has come from. So I'm going to chant the Guru chant today, just in honor of BKS Iyengar. Okay, so sit straight, bring yourself into a composed position on your mat. Bring your palms together in front of the chest and close the eyes. And soften all the muscles in the face. Go quietly inwards, observe your posture, your breath. And gradually the mind will quieten. The poise will come. If you know the Guru chant, you can chant with me. Otherwise, we'll start with 3 Ums anyway. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Hari Om. And bow the head down and in gratitude to Guruji BKS Iyengar. And as Guru means the dispeller of darkness, the giver of light, we just celebrate the light of yoga that he brought to the world. And release the hands, raise the head, open the eyes. Okay, and then we'll start our practice together. And we've been talking about the heart quite a lot this week, opening the heart. So I've devised a sequence really to open this area up. So I hope you enjoy it. We're going to start with Adho Mukha Virasana. So take whatever support you need for yourself today. And if you start from the back edge of the mat, it's helpful because then when you come into Adho Mukha Svanasana, you'll be able to use the length of your mat. So I'm going to take the timer as usual so that we have a consistency. And we'll take 1 minute in each pose, and just over 1 minute. And then come up, as usual. First time, I don't know why it doesn't work, but it does that. Probably to keep us in the pose long. Come up into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Because we're focusing on that upper back, heart center, use your legs to move that, to draw the chest, the back chest towards the front chest, to open that heart area. And then walk forwards, Uttanasana. It's definitely not playing ball today. Then come up and stand in Tadasana for a moment. Because the next three poses we're going to take as a sequence. And I just wanted to show you an alternative, because some of you I know have trouble taking the hands to the floor for Uttanasana. So some of you have seen this before, some of you not. But if you take a chair, a sturdy chair, because the next three poses are going to be Tadasana, Urdhva then Uttanasana, then Adho Mukha Svanasana, a dog pose. So if you take a chair, place it against the wall at the far end of your mat, okay, or if it's not going to move around, it'll be fine. So when you come down for Uttanasana, you can put your hands on the chair seat, like that, and do concave back Uttanasana, or even a little bit lower down. Then when you go back into dog, you step all the way to the back edge of the mat like that. So you're still doing your dog pose, but here, you know, you can press into the chair. That's why it's important that it's not going to slide. And then come back into Uttanasana, and then come up into Urdhva. So you can use that as an alternative to going down to the floor. And then the other version, which I'm probably going to do, to be honest, because I'm still not pushing that sacroiliac joint too much, is if you have bricks ready, you don't have to be facing the wall, but I just happen to be here. So you come down, and then your Uttanasana can be on tall bricks, for example. Then when you come to do your dog, you just move your bricks forwards, bend your knees and put your palms down and step your legs back for Adho Mukha, and then step forwards, Uttanasana, back on your bricks. Okay, so just some alternatives. I think I'm going to face that way, actually. Okay, so those three movements we're going to do 3 times in sequence, all right, with the breath. So follow the first one with me, and then use your own breath timings. Okay, so bring your feet together, Tadasana, and just be there for a moment or two. We did some work on Tadasana this week, really spending quite a bit of time in the pose, just to feel all those nuances, all those balance differences between the left and the right side. and trying to go inwards to, rather than using this just as a pose between poses, but really to go into that quiet space through that slow, steady, quiet Tadasana. Quiet but strong. Okay, and then you inhale for Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale Uttanasana. So either hands down on the floor, on bricks, or on the chair. And you can either go to the full pose or stay with the concave position if you're protecting your back or your hamstrings maybe. And then inhale, and as you exhale, bend your knees, put your palms flat, step the legs back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a few breaths here. Remember, we're trying to open that heart center. You feel the thoracic spine moving deep in. Use your legs by pressing the top thighs back to draw the chest closer. And then look forwards and walk forwards. Uttanasana once again. And then inhale, come up, swing the arms up over Hastasana and Tadasana. So round 2, inhale, over Hastasana, exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, and as you exhale, step back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Try and step back with a different leg that time. And if you forget, there's always round 3. Then look forwards and step the feet forwards, Uttanasana. Small steps, one big step or a jump. And then inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, Tadasana. Last one. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, Uttanasana. Bend the knees, place the palms, step the legs back, Adho Mukha. And then inhale, as you exhale, walk forwards, Uttanasana. And then inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, exhale, Tadasana. Okay, so we've got Trikonasana now. I'm going to take support for mine. You might want to share, you might want to just hold your leg. And yesterday we did a little bit of work on the extension of that inner thigh, that portion there, and the gripping of the outer thigh so that we get the proper rotation of the knee. So if you remember that, have a go at that. Okay, so let's be ready. Hopefully the time will work, but I've got it there. We're going to just do 1 minute each side. So be in Tadasana, and then either step or jump the legs wide apart. And we'll go to your right first. And then change. Go straight to Padmasana. So just turn the feet again. And then change. So we've got Prasarita Padmasana. And it's up to you whether you put the head down today or you use concave back position. Let's just turn that off. And concave back position is basically where you keep your hands under your shoulders. So just a quick demo. Hands stay there. And you keep looking forwards. Okay, otherwise you take the hands further back. Even if you're on bricks, you can still take the hands further back on the bricks and then you bring the head down towards the floor. Okay, so that's your choice. I'm going to take a little support from my head and put the timer on. Just 1 minute again. And then come up. Felt like a very short minute to me. Don't know about you. Some poses feel longer than others, don't they? So we've got Virasana and Parvatasana now. So make yourself comfortable for Virasana. So making sure that you give space at the back of the knee. Your feet, the soles of your feet are facing up towards the ceiling. It's really important for the health of your knee in this pose, because this pose is supposed to help your knees, but only if the alignment is properly maintained. So try and get the feeling the outer knees are pressing down, little toe edge of the foot is pressing down. And we'll take Parvatasana, so interlocking the fingers, touching the thumbs, turn the palms, sorry I just put the timer on, turn the palms, lift the arms up. Now, if a minute is too long, just bring the arms down, but don't slump. Stay well lifted in the chest and use the action of the arms again to stimulate that back chest to move forwards. Press the palms up towards the ceiling. Keep moving the arms back. Look at the upper arms in. Send the shin bones down towards the floor. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, bring the palms higher up. For 10 seconds. But avoid sort of holding on for dear life. Make sure the facial muscles are still soft, the eyes are soft. And sweep the arms out to the sides. And change the interlock, so move the fingers over one. Touch the thumbs. Turn the palms. Lift the arms up. Again, feel the base of the pose is solid, so you're pressing the toenails down, shin bones down. And then when you take a breath in, there's this upward lift through the sides of the waist and the arms, and when you breathe out, the palms open more, not less. Half a minute. So use the breath also to help you maintain longevity in the pose. And then sweep the arms down and release. So Parvatasana, now you've got a choice here, and we did work on this pose in several different ways this week. You can either do the sort of simplified version where you're lying over your side brick, or take the roll blanket version, or the full version. So I'm going to show just very briefly 2 versions for you, because some of you I know don't study with me during the week, but you may hopefully will be familiar with these methods anyway. So the brick version, the simplified one, is just to lie over the brick and with either the legs crossed or the legs straight, and that brick should be in your thoracic spine, okay, directly behind the heart center, sternum bone, okay, so not up into the neck. And when you lie on the brick, you have to lift your chest and curve over it, and then the head can come back. But if that's too strong for you, you take a lift underneath the head, like so. So you've got a nice cushion there, and then you extend your legs out. You extend your arms, that's a very important part. You see that extension through the side of the body, the arms and legs working together, and then you can fold the elbows. So if you want to try that one, there's that version. If you don't have a brick, but you do have a blanket, you fold your blanket so it's this shape, right? And then you make a nice thick, from the short edge of the blanket, a nice thick roll, like that. And that goes in place of the brick, but the other way around. So it's sideways on, so it's going to be under your shoulder blades. Under the shoulder blades, and you have to sort of lift again the chest. It's very different from the blanket, from the brick. but nonetheless it's very opening for the chest. And again, stretch the arms. If you don't need the bolster, you can use the bolster to just rest the hands on for a moment and then fold the elbows. Okay, so I'm going to stay with this one, seeing as I'm here. Where's my timer? You can choose whichever position you want to try. And we're going to take this for 2 minutes. So make sure that you can tolerate whatever you've chosen to do. And I'm going to choose, just to keep it simple, we're going to keep the legs extended, so I'm not doing the full pose today. Come. So if you've just tuned in, we had to open a new stream this morning because the first one, the software, corrupted, unfortunately. So apologies for that, but you can, I think, go back to the beginning or wait until after 11:35 and watch the whole thing. So halfway in between, you can change the cross of the elbows, and it's a good idea to re-extend the arms, get more extension, and then hold the other elbow first. And if it doesn't feel right, it means that the brick or the blanket is in the wrong place. So try moving backwards and forwards and find a place that makes you feel good, makes you feel like you're holding across your chest here. Don't have the head higher than the chest. If you have a positional vertigo, however, you may find that the head has to be a little bit higher to stop that nausea coming. But hopefully you know how to work with your conditions. Otherwise, please contact me. Don't suffer. And there's always a method, a technique, an adjustment that can be made to suit everybody. Okay, now listen, when you come out of this, don't sit up. Bend your knees and roll off onto your side. Don't lift your head until you come up. And that way, keep the neck nice and soft. Okay, so that's Parvatasana version. Not really Parvatasana, but the version. Now, Matsyasana, so I'm going to change my support to the brick now. I'm going to change around because Matsyasana can be done in Swastikasana, so that's cross-leg pose, or in Padmasana, lotus. And I'm going to choose this method now for me, for a bit of variety. So again, you face away from your object, and you can either just cross the legs in Swastikasana, like so, and go back the same way, or you can take Padmasana, if you're able to do that, or even half Padmasana. Okay, so Matsyasana is actually with Padmasana, but the alternative is to just cross the legs. And then for here, go back onto the elbows, lift the chest as high as you can, and then take the top of the shoulder blades down first. And you can see I'm adjusting my brick position so it feels like it's right in the center, between the bottom and the top of the sternum bone. And then when my head comes back, I can either take it to the floor, or I can take that roll blanket and move that into the back of the neck. That's quite pleasant. Especially those of you with the neck issues, you might like to try that roll blanket. Or a smaller roll, like so. I can't find my phone, so I'll just guess the time. So Get into position. We're going to change the cross of the legs halfway through. So we'll come up slightly differently, because when the legs are bent, you can more easily lift your chest. So folding the elbows, just be there. And if this is your first YouTube guided practice session with me, I don't give a lot of information because it's a guided practice, not a taught class. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Okay, so we're going to change the cross of the legs. Now it's best to come up. So what you do is you put your elbows on the floor. You can hold the sides of the mat. Lift your chest and push yourself up, and then release the legs and change the cross of the legs. Either, again, Padmasana, half Padmasana, or Swastikasana. And when you go back onto your elbows, lift your chest first. Don't just slump over your support, because then you're kind of flattened already. Just do that a couple of times, lifting the chest, curve over that lift. Extend the arms, press the knees down in the opposite direction, and then fold. You can even change the cross of the elbows as well. And then bring the arms back, press into the elbows, lift yourself up, and walk your feet off, and stretch out the legs. Okay, so the next one, cross bolsters. Some of you know this very well, and some of you not so. So I'm going to show you how to do that. If you don't have a bolster, you can use your foam blocks like so, and make a shape of a bolster, wrap the blocks in a mat or a blanket or what have you. But then you need another, so that could be the bottom one, and crossed bolsters means that we cross bolsters one on top of the other. So that could be the bottom one, but then you need something else to go over the top. So for simplicity's sake, I'm going to show with mine. Now, I do actually have 2 bolsters. I've got 4 bolsters, but I'm just showing how you can use your blocks to go underneath like that. And then the bolster goes across the top. And then we sit on one end and we stretch over the other. If you have a high lift and you're not very strong in the back, you can put your feet on blocks. So we did do this quite early on in these sequences. So the heels can be on blocks, and then you can also take another blanket and make a roll that will touch the shoulders as you go back. So let me just show you that so you can see. You can also belt the thighs. We often do that as well, but I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible, bearing in mind there's quite a lot of equipment here now. So put those blocks there. So you sit on one end, you go back, and then put your feet on top of your blocks. Keep your legs bent, remember. Everybody tends to forget in the beginning to keep the legs bent. Then that roll blanket is just for the shoulder cap, not for the neck, because you want your neck to go over, back of the head on the floor. And then my heels are on the lift. And I'm going to extend the arms like so. So it's like a very mild Dhanurasana. And then the folded elbows like so. It's not quite Setu Bandha. So if you come down, Just show the mistake people make in this is they go too far off and they end up with their shoulders like that. And that's a different pose. That's Setu Bandha. Very, very nice, but it's not quite the pose. You want to have your shoulder bones off the floor, but they can rest on that roll blanket. Okay, so we're going to time this one because this one you can do supported for a couple of minutes at least. So let me just get my timer up for that. Give you time to get yourself ready, unless you're already in it. And of course, you don't need the roll blanket if you're quite happy to have your shoulders just hanging free. But it's quite a good idea because it stops you from going all the way to the floor as well. You have to work your legs in this pose. You have to press the tops of the thighs down. So it's not that, you're not flopping in the legs to start with. You have to press those thighs, extend the heels, and then after a minute, you can just let the legs kind of relax. And if you've got a belt around the thighs, of course, that, or even around the outer edges of your feet, that will keep the legs active. And if you feel your back is shortening again, just re-extend those legs, reignite that fire. You can close the eyes, change the cross of the elbows. If you don't feel comfortable with the arms over, you can have the arms, actually the upper arms resting on that roll blanket in a sort of cactus position there with the arms. And then bend the legs, because I've got a feeling that time is not going to work. And to come out, you slide towards your head end, push the bolster slightly away, and then roll to your side. Come up. Oh, my sense of timing. Okay, now we've got chair over Dhanurasana. Again, it's a supported version. So if you don't have a chair where you've got the back cut out, if you don't have a yoga chair or a safe chair, then you can either repeat that last pose. If it's a chair, where you can lie across the side of it, you can do that version as well. But don't take risks if you're not sure what you're doing. Or just sit again in Swastikasana, cross-leg pose, and do Parvatasana. Okay, while we're doing this, we're only going to be here a couple of minutes before we go to our shoulder balance. And I tend not to use a mat on my chair, but please do use a mat if you need it. And I'm going to extend my legs. So carefully, you step through the chair, and then you can have a lift for the heels or put the feet on the wall. But don't lie back with your legs straight. It's really not good to do that. Start with the legs bent, of course. Find a position that feels good. So really the bottom edge of the shoulder blade here, in line with the bottom sternum bone. And then let your head come back. And there's four different hand positions. This one where you hold the side of the chair and you just wait, elbows down. 4, put your arms through. And 4 to get more curve. If you want a stronger action, the arms over. And then you can also fold the elbows. And then to come out, bend your knees. Your elbows on the chair. Hold the sides of the chair. Curve. And come up. There's that time again. Okay, so come up, and then we'll do Shavasana, shoulder balance. Now there's an option here to drop back to Setubandha. So if you're an experienced student and you know how to drop back, then you can do that. And I will show, but so don't go up until I've shown that, because if you won't be able to see the drop back when you are in the pose, and it's not good to turn your head this way and that when you're in the pose. Okay. So make your setup, and then you can watch the screen. I'm going to show. Okay, take that. All right, so you can use a belt, of course, for this. And when you're using the belt, you want to make sure that it's not too narrow and not too wide. So you kind of have to know your pose, know your shoulders a little bit. So if you've got really serious shoulder issues, the belt shouldn't be, well, for anybody actually, it shouldn't be difficult to get on and off. Okay, so if you find that you're doing this to get into your belt, it's too narrow. All right, so you should be able to still move your arms. And obviously don't put your belt on when you're standing up, because that's restricts your movement. So what you do, if I can demo today, let's see. You're going to go up into Shavasana. You can go straight up or go from Halasana. And then dropping back, you bend the knees. You have to bring the hands into towards the shoulder blades and get as much height in the chest as you can. And then you either drop both feet at once or one at a time down towards the floor, like so. Okay, and either the heels down or the heels up. I'm just bringing my heels up because I haven't warmed up enough to do this with the heels down just yet. And then you're supposed to jump up like that and go back into Shavasana. Okay, so that's the option, but please don't do that if you're not sure. And next term, September, we'll be looking at how to drop back to the wall and go down in very, very safe, step-by-step process so that you can start to learn how to do that. Okay? All right, so I'm going to set the timer for just 3 minutes in the Shavasana. Okay, so go on up. Don't watch me. And when the timer goes off, you can then choose whether to just come down or drop back. If you're tired and you want to try to drop back, you can do that before the timer, of course. Okay, so if you're dropping back, drop back and then jump up and then come out. If you're not dropping back, just come down. And then you can just come out, take your belt off, roll down, and then slide back so that your shoulders and head are on the floor, buttocks on the left. And then Shavasana. I think, is it Shavasana? Yes. So we do Shavasana together because it is the most important part of practice. Although Without the rest of the asanas, it wouldn't be quite as sweet, but it is important to rest. And see that you've cleared the space around you, so you haven't got any objects in your way. And always lie down with the legs bent, remember, to roll the spine sensitively down towards the floor. And then you adjust the buttocks, adjust the shoulders, and then allow those legs to release out. Thighs revolving away from each other, arms revolving away from the sides of the body. And gently closing the eyes. Allow the limbs to surrender into the floor. Allow the body to soften completely. Let go of the tongue and the jaw, the throat. And feel the breath moving softly through the nose. And exhaling, soften the temples and the skin around the eyes, the forehead, the scalp. Be aware of the center of the chest and the heart center. And see that the brain energy releases down towards the heart center. And then bring the hands to the chest, to the abdomen, bend your knees, roll onto your right side, and then gently come up from the side. Okay, thanks for joining me, and apologies for the technical problems. I'll have those sorted for next Sunday. So enjoy the rest of your day. See you next week.